Welcome to night 4, the last night of the Detroit Improv Festival. Thank you everybody for coming out tonight and seeing some fantastic podcasts that we have here. We have 2 this evening as part of this block. We have this show right here, which at this moment is History Made Up, is what I'm hearing in my brain. And then when I was thinking it and about to say it, I was like, oh no. So that is it. This is the cast of History Made Up. I will let them take it over in just a moment. But before I do that, I want to make sure that we do thank our sponsors and people who have made this festival possible. We do want to thank Jim Beam. They said yes. So the highest compliment you can pay a sponsor. They said yes. We also want to thank Hungry Howie's. Hungry Howie's has been part of the Detroit Improv Festival since the beginning, and this festival was no exception. That is how that rolls. So thank you, Hungry Howie's. We must absolutely thank the wonderful people here at Affirmations. This is our first year here in this space, and they have been nothing but wonderful to us, allowing us to use this space. If you are unaware of Affirmations' mission, I encourage you to please check out what they do and how they help the community at large. GoAffirmations.com. Yeah, we'll give it up for them. Podcasting. What is it? And how do we are so excited to have this group here this evening. I will let them take it from here. So please welcome History Made Up!
Hello everybody, my name's Will Frazier. Welcome to History Made Up! My name is Will Frazier. This is History Made Up, the informative, improvised podcast. What I do here is I travel around the country, I get local stories from local folks, and then I find local improvisers to improvise some scenes inspired by that story. I'm from Des Moines, Iowa. All these folks are from right here, Detroit. So let's meet our improvisers. Mike Magyar. Hi Mike, how are you?
Good. Happy to be here.
Thanks so much for doing it.
Thank you for inviting me back.
Yes, of course. How many times have you been to DIF? Tell me about your history with DIF.
I'm actually relatively new, so this is my second DIF.
All right.
Yeah, last year was my first one. The craziest one.
Oh, I missed the craziest one?
Yeah.
That sucks.
Well, second round, we'll see what we can do later.
All right, we'll set some stuff on fire. That sounds good. Jess Kriskowski! Now you're helping putting this whole dang thing together, aren't you?
I work near the people that do.
I think that counts.
Yeah.
How long have you been attending DIF?
Okay, well here we go. I've been attending DIF since before it was DIF, Will.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah,
what?
the first year we did it was called SpawnCon.
Ooh, DIF's way better. Way better name. Good job. Good job changing that name.
So this is year 8 or something. I don't know, I'm old, it's sad.
This is the 8th year of DIF. DIF 8.
Yeah.
So it's at least 9, right?
Yeah. Is that how numbers work?
Yeah, it is.
We'll talk.
We'll check back on that later.
Yeah.
Chris Ford, everybody. Hello, Chris. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me, Will.
You're very welcome. What's your history with DIF? How long have you been performing at this festival?
This is my 3rd DIF. My very first day of improv classes started 2 days after DIF ended.
Did you come and see it and were like, I got to do that?
No.
No?
It was like
It's
coming to town like after the World's Fair left, and it's like, what do you guys do around here? Well, 4 days ago we did something great.
Yeah. Well, glad you're here now. This is my first DIF.
Aww.
I know. I had so much fun. 2 days early just to see all the shows and have all the fun. And it has not disappointed. I've met so many great people, and everyone's so nice, and all the crowds are so awesome. Thank you guys for coming, all right? Okay, so, as I explained, yeah, when I travel around, I get local stories from history and the local improvisers. So, a little hiccup on this show. The wonderful mayor of Ferndale was going to be the guest. Something came up more important. I get it, of course, being a mayor is more important. Coming up and telling a story for us dum-dums to make fun of, right? So instead, reached out to a former DIF performer who is in town, Oliver Giorgio.
You got it!
Yeah! I'm normally very bad with names. I have met Jess before, so I have practice.
No, I've known people for a good 5 years that still get it wrong every time they introduce me, so.
Well, that's terrible. You have terrible, terrible friends.
Terrible friends. For you, I'm pretty. No.
All right, Oliver, are you ready?
Yeah.
Ready to tell us a story? You guys ready?
Yeah.
All right, let's go.
All right, so this story, I was told that I could tell a personal story or a story from like history. I figured it'd be much more interesting to hear me talk about something closer to me. So this is the most romantic story of my life.
Ooh.
Yes. So, yes, let's begin. Now I'm ready to go. Yeah, so in 2013, I had my very first ever, only one really, Euro trip. It was the first time that I had traveled anywhere without my parents. They would bring me other places to visit family and whatnot, but I decided, nope, I'm going on my own. And I brought this big, huge duffel bag, way more than I needed to carry around Europe. But it's fine. So I showed up in Berlin. I stayed at a friend's place. And then I wanted to plan a couple things. So I got in touch with Improv Theater in Paris. And I asked him, do you have any classes going on or shows that I can play? And he actually told me about a clown workshop that was happening in Malmo, Sweden. So I switched around my schedule a little bit and went to the clown workshop in Malmo, Sweden, where I met Kaspar, who ran Improv Theater in Paris. And so I did that workshop, and it was fantastic, and all the people there were amazing. I went to, and I had a wonderful time there. I had a wonderful time in Berlin, by the way. I went to Amsterdam, had a terrible time. Didn't know a single person there. Everyone was just getting high around me, and I also got high, but was too high to say hi to anyone. I sat there in the hostel watching all these happy people, and I just listened to Pink Floyd and looked out my top floor window onto the Bundle Park. But I had bought way more weed than I could smoke myself, and I was leaving soon. So I thought it would be real cool to go to a grocery store, buy a tiny thing of Nescafe coffee, because I'm told that dogs can't smell weed through coffee. Yeah, it's okay. I don't think anyone like that's going to be listening to this. So I opened it up, poured out a bunch of coffee. I made a mess at the hostel that I was staying at to do that, and I shoved it in my little bag of, I think it was strawberry delight, and I put it in my backpack. And so I got on the train. It was a train, not a plane, thank goodness, to Paris, and I was on my way. There were no dogs, nobody checked anything, nobody cared at all. That was all for nothing. All that. So I get to Paris, I meet up with Kaspar one night, and he decides to bring me to a play. And so I go see this play. This play is entirely in French, of course, as it would be. Because everywhere else, everyone was kowtowing to my English as soon as I entered the room. Oh, we have an English speaker, speak English. And I felt like the biggest idiot. Because, I don't know, we're kind of coddled here in North America, you know? Nobody needs to speak anything else but. So I went to this play, and I did not understand a single thing because it was also like an absurdist play. And an absurdist play where there was just a lot of like standing and talking. So there wasn't even that. But there were two people that were extremely physical, and they did this beautiful like rope dance, where in the beginning they were tied by a rope, and I just had to guess at what this meant to the play. Beautiful imagery though. And they had this rope around both their waists, and they would go apart, and there was the tension, and then they would play with that tension, and then they repeated that a couple times, and the very final time that they did it, there was no rope, but they still did all the same moves and created the same tension, and it was beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful work. So afterwards I met Caspar's friend, who he had brought me there to see, and her name was Carolina. And so we met, and we went out to a bar, the three of us, and it looked like they were vibing kind of thing, so I was like, okay, that's cool. Well, I'm just out, hanging out with these friends. She spoke almost no English. She was Brazilian, so she spoke Portuguese. She spoke French, obviously, because she lived there. She spoke a bit of Spanish. English was her fourth language. So there was Caspar between us, translating almost everything that we said. But there was an interesting connection that we had, where when Caspar would translate something for me, and I'd understand, I would communicate that to her non-verbally with like a or like, oh, I know, like, and she would laugh. She laughed. She loved it, and then she would do the same thing to me, and I loved it. And in that conversation, I also realized that, oh la, it's not ooh la la. It's never been ooh la la. It's just oh la la, and now they only use it really ironically when they hate something. So that was fantastic. It was just a really fun conversation. We had a couple of drinks. We went somewhere else. By that point, we were all pretty drunk. They ended up like making out hardcore in the corner of the bar, while I just kind of like was sitting there sipping my beer, enjoying it. What a wonderful ambience kind of thing. Like love in Paris, to watch it, and to avert my eyes because I didn't want to watch too long. And so as we were going home, I was trying to show them a song that I really loved. And I saw, they were still there, they'd been making out, I saw that, so I decided to give them both the earbuds so that they could listen together, because I wanted to ease it on, just like here, and I'll be this cool wingman for both of you. I got home, and that was it. So I was asking Caspar and all of his friends, hey, does anyone smoke weed? Anyone smoke weed? Because I was trying to get rid of this weed, because I had to get on a plane to Cyprus. And that's super international from there. It's like across another time zone. So I needed to get rid of this. None of his friends smoked. So I told Carolina, we had connected on Facebook, it's like, hey, I have this coffee, and the weed was stuffed in some coffee. Let's just say coffee. And she's like, oh, great. Let's meet up and give it to me. So we met up at a cafe, and we sat there for a good long while, chatting about family, her family back in Brazil, my family back in Canada, and I gave her the coffee, and it was I thought it would only be like a quick handoff kind of thing, 15 minutes, turned into a 2-hour conversation, so that was nice. And that was my last day in Paris, so I went to sleep at my hostel. The next day I was supposed to catch a plane to Cyprus, and I got lost in the Paris metro. I thought, well, this is north, and it looks like it kind of connects, but on the map, it went like this, which you can't see because this is a podcast. There are two lines that kind of like, they could meet, but they don't. So I got off, and there was no way to get to the next one, and so I ended up getting there only 20 minutes before the plane lifted off, which apparently was much too late. So the Greek airline folks at the counter, they just laughed at me. It was very rude, but that's okay. So I went and booked another ticket for tomorrow for an extra 300 or 350 euro, which is ridiculous. I called my dad, who is in the audience right now. You may be able to tell because he looks almost like me except with white hair. I called him and I told him everything that happened, that I missed my plane. And I was kind of freaking out, and he said, don't worry about it. I'll pay for the upgrade ticket. Just sometimes when I miss my flights, because he travels around a lot, sometimes when I miss my flights, I have my best nights. So I just go out and enjoy yourself for the night, and you've got a plane ticket for the morning. And that calmed me so down. So thank you very much. so I thought about what I wanted to do, and I still had a bunch of weed in that coffee tin. So I called up Carolina, or I texted her and said, hey, do you still have that coffee? Or how's that coffee? She's like, and she texts back, oh, it's so good. Like, I love it, this is such great coffee. So I was like, oh, great, do you still have some? She's like, of course. I was like, great, I just missed my flight. She's like, oh, well, come stay at my place, that's fine. So I'm like, oh, great. This is much better than I thought it would be. I thought I'd have to go to Montmartre and spend another night in that hostel. Which wasn't bad, I don't know why I said that hostel. And so I took myself with all of my bags to her place by Jordan Station. And she had to go do her final night of the play. And she was going to have an after party after that. They were going to have an after party. So I was invited to the after party, didn't need to come see the play again. So she brought me to her place, showed me the couch, and said, here you are, you'll be sleeping here. So just show up afterwards, you know where it is, you know how to get there. So I was like, yep. So I put all my stuff there, ended up showing up for the after party. We smoked at the after party. It was wonderful. Like, the two of us just kind of went off to the side for a bit, and it was spring, so there were just cherry blossoms all over the place. So we just sat by this planter with a cherry blossom and watched the moon, and it was like a pink sky, it felt like a pink sky, and we were blitzed. It was great. So we ended up going home, and we sat down on the couch, and we were showing each other each other's music kind of thing, and she had a big poster of Kurt Cobain on the wall, so I was like, okay, great. We're kind of on the same page already. I grew up with that, she grew up with that, it's wonderful. So we were showing each other the music, and she's, closer and closer kind of thing to me. And I felt like the time had come to go to bed. It was like, well, it's about time, so let's make that move. Let's go to bed. And then she's like, okay. So she puts down the couch into the futon. And I was like, oh, are you sleeping in the next room? She's like, no, this is my roommate's place. I was like, okay, so this is your bed? She's like, yep. I was like, okay. And by that point, while we were leaning over and doing the computer music, she was pretty close to me, and I was pretty close to her, and I was like, I feel like this is a pretty good sign. So I turned and I kissed her, and she leaned into it. So I was like, oh, good. And we kissed for a good minute, 2 minutes. It was a really nice kiss. She's a great kisser. We were great kissers. And we break the first one, and she looks at me and says, oh, good. I thought you might be gay. It's taken so long to kiss her. And so then we kissed again, pan to the window of Paris night, and fade out. A wonderful evening. So I caught my plane, thank goodness, to Cyprus the next day. And for the next 2 weeks there, I was a little bit miserable because my family was miserable. It was kind of in a depression there kind of thing. So I was talking to her almost constantly over Skype. It was the first time I'd ever enjoyed using Skype. And we talked so much, and I was up very late every night, just drinking all of their beer. Kyo, wonderful. Check it out if you can. And just having really, really more and more intimate conversations. So much so that by the end of those 2 weeks, we decided that even though we had no idea when we were going to see each other again, that we would maintain a long-distance relationship. After that, must have just been a really good night, I suppose. We connected. So I guess I'll finish up. I went back to Paris that August for a good month. We spent those 5 weeks together. She came to Canada directly after her Christmas in Brazil, which is 40 degrees Celsius there. I don't know what that translates to. And
I don't either.
That's fine. And she came to Canada where it was minus 30 degrees Celsius when we went up to Montreal.
That sounds colder.
Very much more so. And I kept on saying, isn't it beautiful when it snows? And she was like, I'm sure it's very nice in the summer. And then eventually the time came where the intervals between times that we saw each other just kept on getting further and further apart. So at about a year and 2 months, she decided that she had to go home to Brazil as opposed to come back to Canada to visit, and we decided to call it off. But today is her birthday. We still talk. I said happy birthday today. I told her that I'd be telling the story, and she's like, oh, good. And she's wonderful. And yeah, for a while after that, I kind of held on to the idea that maybe, fate would bring us together again. But she's married now. It's cool. You see that? It's cool. All over, everybody!
Excuse me. I saw you lovely couple making out across the bar.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, we are very French. Yes.
Specifically
Very,
French, yes.
very
No matter what you
French.
thought you heard earlier, it was French.
I believe you.
Okay.
I can
Just
see a fellow Frenchman.
out of the way.
When I see one across the bar, I just want to say,
Yes.
you're very good at kissing.
Oh.
Like, I was watching for 20-25 minutes. It's very, very good.
We do it a lot. We're constantly kissing
I can tell.
each other people, animals,
Dogs.
whatever.
Hey, excuse me, I'm from America, and I just want to say what y'all do here is beautiful.
Somebody just
Thank
kiss
you.
that man.
I have never seen that much
Come
tongue
here.
flying around.
Come here. Who do you want to kiss, me or one of these gentlemen?
Well, can I just take a turn, all of you guys?
Yes,
One
okay.
by one, and then maybe all
I am not as skilled as these two, I must warn you.
No, please.
Oh, please, come here. You see what I mean?
Oh, that was beautiful.
Oh, well, thank you. That's so kind. That's very kind. That's very
This is fully exfoliated.
You're a very beautiful American man, I must say.
Thank you.
This is your first time in France.
Yeah, I keep missing my airplane. I don't know how the alarms here work.
No, we do not use them.
Once the time goes past 12, I just get really confused.
Well, do you want to live with us?
Sure, yeah.
We have one bed we all share together.
That's also this new man has agreed to live with us.
Yes, there are also 4 or 5 people living there already.
Well, that's perfect. I get really cold at night, so if we can all just stack up on top of each other vertically, I think that would improve my circulation.
It's a real princess and Sophie situation.
Scene.
Oh God, okay, it's not in the coffee can. All right, I didn't put it in the empty book. God damn it, where's my weed?
I got it.
What?
Yeah, I took your weed.
Jacob.
I smelled it in the coffee.
What?
You know I've got a nose for weed.
Yeah, you're a dog. You're not supposed to be able to do that.
Yeah, well, turns out I can smell anything. So I ate it.
Wait,
Yeah.
can dogs eat weed?
Well, I did.
Can dogs eat weed in the same way that they can eat chocolate and then die?
Well, so far, still alive.
Jacob.
I feel pretty good, actually.
No, we gotta take you
No,
to
I see color now.
Oh.
Yeah, it's everywhere.
No, I feel more comfortable if we went to that, but remember, you can't talk to anyone but me.
What?
Yeah.
Why?
No.
I'm a fucking talking dog.
Yeah.
I'm gonna talk to everyone.
No, don't.
Why?
They'll take you.
What?
Yeah. You're the only talking dog in the world. Oh God, we have to have this talk now.
Aw.
Okay. All right, so Jacob,
Yeah.
I know you've never met another dog.
No, you say they're all bad.
Yeah.
You call them Nazis.
Well, you kept you away from them, didn't you? Well, remember that one time you saw that Disney cartoon and there was Pluto and also the other dog whose name I don't remember?
Yeah.
Do you know what it is?
The other dog?
Yeah.
Goofy.
Goofy. So you know how Goofy can talk, but
Yeah.
Pluto can't?
Right. He
You're
wears pants.
Goofy.
I'm Goofy?
The other dogs are Pluto.
Okay, but Goofy and Pluto hang out.
Yeah, but also
Are you trying to tell me Pluto's a Nazi?
If it keeps you from talking to
Daniel.
others, yes. Yeah, I'm sorry that you.
This is a weird day for me, I'm not gonna lie.
Cut to Disney. Hey, Goofy? Could you maybe take that flag down? So it makes my friends uncomfortable.
Ha! I'm really uncomfortable, ha!
Okay, I suppose. It can come down, but only at half mast.
Oh. Alright, as long as, halfway down it won't be fully visible out the window, so that'll be a little better. I'm sorry, Mickey.
No, that's all right. Just hoping that, Disney could, maybe be a bit more reputable. Going to the next century, but I suppose not. Sorry, I'm blitzed.
I was told I could express myself in my dormitory, so I am. If you don't like it, go.
Wow. Okay. Didn't know we were gonna start a altercation in here, Goofy. I was just asking for a favor. Just asking for a favor. Had Mickey over visiting, just didn't want to rub his face. He got a little fucked up and he wants to fight you. So I just thought I would come in, talk in peace first.
No. Hey, Goofy. I know you identify as a dog and all that, but I didn't want to tell you this because I knew it would blow your mind. I did the DNA work. You're a cow.
Yeah, you promised you wouldn't say it.
Well, he's not taking the Nazi flag down, so.
You take that back, Garsh.
You're a cow.
I am not.
You get milk for milk.
Here, you cheese-eating son of a bitch. You try to milk me, we're gonna have another problem,
Okay, well, we're all getting a bit speechless right now. Well, let's all just calm down.
I'm calm if you are, Garsh.
You don't look. Put the knife away if you're calm.
No.
Put it.
Let's do
Goofy.
this mouse to cow.
Where did you get that bike chain from, Mickey?
Okay, if you want to do that, it's time to bring out the brass knuckles, Garsh. Here we
How
go.
is that a
Here's
level
one.
up from a knife?
Oh, I'm not getting rid of the knife.
Okay, you guys gonna argue about being Nazi? You're gonna argue about the weapons.
That's a good point.
What chain?
See.
Okay, Billy, I want you to look into your mom's eyes, all
Yeah.
right?
Uh-huh.
I need you to
Yeah.
tell her about your most romantic sexual experience.
Please don't leave out any details.
Does Ted need to be here?
Yeah,
I
this is for all of you.
just don't like. I don't like your new boyfriend. That's all.
Oh, I like it. Your stories. I like all stories.
That's weird, Ted.
Okay, this is good. I feel like we're really getting to the heart of something. We're opening up. You don't like her boyfriend. Now just tell him a story about your penis.
Okay, well that's a little different than the first thing he asked for.
Yeah, I thought I'd start small.
Hey, not cool. I mean, I expect that from the kids in school, but not from you.
I didn't mean it like that. It just
Okay.
came out.
Last Tuesday at the baseball game, me and Robbie were down there, and Sandra, that's from down the street, had a crush on her.
Okay.
She was there with all of her friends. Then Marty came up behind me and he Except he got my underwear too, so that everyone in the whole baseball stadium could see all my everything. And Sandra looked over, and she pointed and she started laughing real hard. Yeah, so that's pretty much the most romantic moment of my life. Is that what you want, Mom? Is that what you want, Dad?
So much attention. That must have been wonderful.
I never thought about it like that.
Full house. The audience. I'm not referring to your genitals as a full house.
Oh. All right, well, thanks, I guess. Yeah, I guess I never thought about all that attention. It was a lot of attention. Say, Ted, can I borrow that trench coat?
Oh, which one? The tan one, or the chocolate one, or the red one?
I don't really think it matters.
You're like a red kind of guy.
Okay.
Yeah, a real Where the World is Carmen Sandiego vibe.
Thank you.
You're very welcome.
See, Mom, when he says those things like,
I thought it was really nice.
okay, sounded
Watch
like
it
he was
first.
hitting on me a little bit.
Well, maybe he is.
Carmen Sandiego's sexy, no?
Yeah, no, she
I'm
is.
glad we all agree.
Yeah. Yeah,
So,
I think we've.
then when
I
you
think we've
compare me
noticed.
to, I'm, okay, you're right.
There is a matching hat.
Oh, I
And
don't,
also a matching Carmen Sandiego wig.
okay, will I get more attention?
I'd like to think so.
Yeah,
I mean, when we wear it, we get a lot
a
of
lot of
attention.
attention.
Yeah. When the two of us wear that one coat and one hat.
Yeah,
Oh.
I know you get
Sure.
a lot of attention that ruined my middle school graduation.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
Things happen when you're in the mood.
We just had to find each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, the kids still make fun of me in school about that too. I mean, you were just, fucking right on the front lawn.
Yeah.
I mean, that wasn't.
Why don't you tell us that story?
Yeah.
See? Next.
Yeah, hi. Here's my passport.
Where are you from? Where are you going?
I'm from the United States, and I'm going to Canada.
What's the nature of your visit?
Legal activity.
Now, why would you go ahead and start? Just
Well, because it is. Because everything I'm going for is 100% legal in both countries.
But why would people assume otherwise?
I don't know. You asked what I was doing, and I answered your question. Can I go now?
No, absolutely not. Pull over.
Get out of the car,
All
leave
right.
the keys in it.
Oh, I will need those when I leave soon.
You're not leaving soon.
No.
You're gonna be here for a while. Please get out of the car, sir.
All right.
Come around the front. Put your hands on the hood.
Oh. Is this legal?
Sir, please pull your pants back up.
I said to put my hand somewhere and a tough tone of voice. Are you feeling this?
No, I'm doing my duty to the government of the United States of America, and quite frankly, I feel very triggered right now.
Oh, okay. Now I'll be the customs officer and you be the person. Sir.
Okay, you're mocking a federal agent.
I'm gonna need that gun.
I am.
Can I have that? Sir, you can't take that to Canada.
You cannot. Sir, you cannot call me sir.
Sir,
Sir, I am.
Sir, it is illegal
Sir,
to
I am-
impersonate an officer. Give me that badge. Sir.
Please, you are making a mockery of the Department of Homeland Security, and we do not take kindly to that. Now,
Sir, put your hands on the ground.
put your hands on the ground, sir.
Okay, I'll do that. Okay.
No,
All right.
you're doing it, and I'm going to take my taser out.
Okay, oh, me too. Okay.
Wait a minute. Sir, give me your taser.
Sir, you tase me first, I'll tase you next. Should we just tase each other at the same time? If we both hold it in our right hands. Okay, yeah. that'll
Maybe
work.
it's a 16-hour shift talking, but I'm starting to kind of get into this a little bit.
Oh,
Okay.
You do have anything you'd like to declare?
I don't really know how to do this. Should I have something to declare? I don't.
Wow, you're a You seem a little suspicious. Hey, Claude, can you get over here?
Wait, how do you know Claude?
Claude. Thanks, Claude.
Yeah.
This guy seems a little suspicious. What do you think? Should we book him?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Wait, no, Claude.
Put that taser down.
I'll tase you.
Sir?
No,
Sir.
I
Listen to my partner here, sir.
I am trained to carry this taser. We need to get him to put his taser down.
Oh, he's one of these guys. Think you could just come in here and impersonate an officer?
Sir, I'm not coming into anywhere.
Whoa.
Claude, we had lunch together today, man. You know me. I was at your daughter's bat mitzvah.
You know it's illegal to lie to an officer, don't you?
Ooh, I forgot about that. Is true. It's illegal to lie. Good job. Good pickup. You're welcome. You're doing a great job.
You got away for a long time, asshole.
Claude.
Huh?
Claude, you know me.
Wow.
You had this taser personally engraved.
You see this guy? He's like
Wow,
crying.
he's crying. That never works.
Oh no, it never works. They always try it, don't they?
Oh no, don't arrest me.
You are fun.
Thank you. I love that we work together.
Me, you're like my favorite coworker.
You're my favorite coworker.
Yes, I know each other. What the fuck is going on?
See?
I can't do it.
Yeah, you can. Come on.
No,
Believe-
I'm telling you, there are 100 people out there, and I know they came to see my play, and I'm not going out there.
Okay, well, you're the one that badgered us for months, giving you the lead role, and
No.
so we caved in and we gave it to you. So you are going to get your ass out there, and you are going to perform.
It's just, I can't.
Yeah, sure you
No.
can. You're doing great. We all
I
believe
can't do
you.
it. I can't.
Yeah, you're the best.
Oh,
See? Look at that.
I mean, I know I'm really good, and it's like a shame that they're not going to see it.
Ooh, see, yeah,
But
so you should do it.
I can't do it.
Oh no.
No.
My ex-boyfriend's out there.
Oh, we could just kick him out.
Oh, okay.
I mean, really? Is that
Yeah.
the only thing?
Yeah, I don't want him to see me like this.
Oh, well, just give me one second. Clark? Is your name Clark?
Yeah, what's up?
Well, you need to get the fuck out of here. I paid for my ticket. They'll refund you out front.
I paid for my ticket.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and so I'm staying. I'm here to watch the play. I'm here to watch my ex-girlfriend's play. I've been hanging out.
You heard it. That's a creepy thing.
I've been hanging out. Okay, well, I think that eventually we'll
Clark.
get back together.
Clark.
I think that's a thing that's.
Clark, you have to go.
What? I just think we broke up on good terms, and
No,
that
Clark.
eventually, like,
Clark, I am married now.
sometime fate will bring us together.
I'm married to someone else.
What is marriage these days, though? What is marriage anymore? I mean, people get divorced all the time.
Okay, well,
Seriously, I got this. Everyone's
you're
seen
taking
you
a
were in
long
your
time.
costume. I know, I'm sorry.
I know, I'm ruining the magic, all right? I'm a real person, okay?
When the moon hits your eye, I've been
No,
practicing.
no.
You know, the big pitch.
Clark,
You're embarrassing
Please.
yourself, sir.
I know, I've got been really stretched through. It doesn't work in songs. Hey, but I'll do everything better than I did. And I'll be better for you. And I'll be better for you
it was
than
it was
Michael!
Okay.
Michael! Oh, I have a dartboard in my house. I took his face down because I didn't want to be disrespectful to you.
Well, I guess I appreciate that.
I sleep with it under my pillow.
Okay, see, it's weird.
And then at the end of my dreams that I heard him there, and it's okay there. Osmosis.
Okay, now the people around you are starting to leave. Please stop talking. No, folks, come back. Come back, sir.
No,
No.
just stay. I'm really good. I do all the lines.
So magic, screw it. Goodbye forever.
Oh, okay, see? Okay, come back. I'll leave. I'll go.
Oh,
Okay.
good.
I'll go.
Jeez.
Just come back.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I'll go.
Okay.
And I just think maybe I never heard it. I never listened to it out loud before.
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, it's real weird.
Yeah.
Who are you?
I'm the director of the play, and I didn't want the play to come out of the marriage.
It's personal. Okay.
Oh, I know it is. And I tried to be as professional as I can, but then she came out with her costume and running people out of here, and I said, you should get the fuck out of here!
No, I came back in good faith.
out through all your issues, so I'm gonna go.
No,
again.
just stay, okay?
No,
Stay and watch this. This is the play now.
Okay.
Oh my god, a play within a play.
I'll let you get to it. I'm so sorry. I'll go back.
What's gonna happen next? Are they gonna get back together?
God, I hope so. The sexual tension's insane.
Mom, don't say sexual tension to me.
Sorry.
So does that mean I've done something
I don't know,
you
okay?
like now?
I don't know what it means. I know when I came out here, I didn't want to see your face again, but then when I saw your face, I was like, it's nice. And I miss it. And yeah, maybe I sleep with a picture of you under my pillow just in case osmosis.
Oh no.
Oh, you sleep with a picture. I sleep with a picture of your wife.
I know.
Okay.
Your sister.
Okay.
Oh my god, I hope the husband shows up.
Honey, be quiet. Okay, Mama's trying to pay attention.
Sorry, Mom.
I am ready and willing to take you back. I created a bedroom
What?
across from mine because I knew that it might take a while for you to want to sleep in the same bed as me again. But I created a bedroom and I built it onto my apartment. It's 8th floor. It's against all violations.
Yeah.
Against them.
It's so weird and romantic.
Eventually it'll be like one of those babies in a basket you hang out the window. We can have our baby in there. I want
A baby.
a baby and this.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh,
Well,
honey, take him back now. Take him back in his bedroom right now.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Sorry.
I'm gonna have to kick you and your child out of here. You don't stop fucking up my play. Are you seeing this? This is beautiful right now.
I'm so sorry. I just haven't been touched in 15 years.
See? All right, let's go, everybody. All right, Mike. What did you learn? What do you got to plug?
I learned that Euro trips are fun, and that I'm gonna follow that rule of missed flights might be the best night of your life. So I'm gonna not freak out next time I miss a flight. And what was the second question?
Anything to plug or promote? This will be out in
I'm
5
at Go
weeks.
Theater, Go Comedy Improv Theater in Ferndale, Michigan. So if you're listening to this not in Ferndale, there's not much I can do to help you. But if you're in Ferndale, I'm around. I usually play Saturdays and Fridays, and come by and say hello.
All right. Thanks so much, Mike. Jess, what did you learn? What are you plugging?
Boy, I learned Oliver's life is way more interesting than mine. Spicy. Sweating a lot. Where are we? What was the question? And that all of us can do really good, accurate French accents.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. We did a great job.
Yeah.
And what do you got to promote?
Well, if you just Google POTUS interruptus, you'll find some porn I've written about U.S. presidents.
Oh my God. That's the best promotion that we've ever had on this show. Chris?
Oh, hi.
What did you learn? What are you plugging?
I learned that if you're not paying attention at the beginning of Oliver's story, you think that it's a romance with a can of weed. I honestly was like, who's the other person in this story?
Takes a bit, but now weaves in.
To plug, oh wait, last year for Christmas, I hand-bound a copy of POTUS Interruptus for Loria. It was 400 pages long. She wrote 400 pages of presidential pornography.
Yeah, what are you doing with your life? Come on!
I'll plug, there's a sketch show opening at Go Comedy on, well, I won't say next month because I don't know when this comes out, in September, called G21 on Thursday, so come check that out. Otherwise, you'll find me most weekends at Go Comedy or Pointless Improv Theater and Brewery in Ann Arbor, Michigan.
All right. Oliver! Hey. You obviously didn't learn anything.
Nope, still the same old.
Hey, I tell you, I learned that you can tell a sexy story in front of your parents pretty good. Good job out of you.
With the pen away to the window.
Right. Yeah, we all got that. What do you have to promote?
So I'm down in Los Angeles now. I have my company that is just barely hanging on by a thread called Soda School of Dramatic Acting. You can check it out at sodaimpro.com. There's talks about the shows that we do. It has a whole crap load of videos of our shows that are actually, they translate pretty well to film. So check it out. And yeah, that's about it.
All right, thanks so much. Yeah, check out the website, historymadeup.com, History Made Up on Twitter and Instagram. And that's it. Rate and review us on iTunes. Thanks so much, everybody. Thanks again.